Hello everyone, I am Myron Means, the large carnivore program coordinator with Arkansas Game and Fish.
My name's Clay Newcomb. I work for Meat Eater and host the Bear Grease podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to judge black bears in the field. We're going to talk about how to identify a boar and a sow, and then how to identify an adult versus a juvenile. And why is that important to us?
Well, as you know, Clay, we had an earlier archery opener this year, and that's something that we hope to be able to continue to do, provide an earlier seasoner opener. It is a lot better for the bear hunter, but there are certain management risks that come with an earlier opener. Typically, there's higher female harvest rate when you do that. So what we're going to do to try today is try to identify things that will help hunters identify males and females and determine young and old.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can continue to have hunters bias that harvest toward males and older age bears so that we can continue an earlier opening.
Yeah, I think if we just educate people just a little bit, we can turn that stat in our favor and keep that season opener, because that's what I want.
Absolutely. Okay, so Clay, what we have here is obviously a female coming into a bait site because she has cubs. But without the presence of cubs, the first thing I would look for is the narrowness of the head right behind the eyes. As you can see, this bear's head is fairly narrow between its eyes and its ears.
Yeah, and the thing that I would use to identify this as a sow is small ankles. A boar has stovepipe legs that just come right into a big heavy pad. A female is going to have a tapered leg going down to a small ankle. So Myron, here's a clip where we've got two bears in the same frame, and it's a great example of a adult sow and a juvenile male. This bear right here is short and squatty, and she's thick, and it's clear that that's an adult animal, but that bear is under 30 inches at the shoulder, has dainty ankles, has a small neck, and is pear-shaped. That's an adult sow. And then the second bear walks in.
Right. That's probably a yearling male with her. You can tell it's obviously a juvenile bear just by how lanky its features are, how long its legs compared to body size, and how narrow the head and ears are. Judging by the general anatomy of this animal, I would call this probably a yearling male, just because his arms are so lanky. If you look at his front feet are as wide as his ankles.
Right,
and that's
yeah.
a dead giveaway from a young male bear.
Looks
Long
like
and
he's
lanky and big wide feet, and yeah, just kind of a rectangular shaped bear.
This is clearly a big Arkansas male bear. Big thick neck, huge body, big stovepipe legs. You can see his male anatomy there, but this is a big bear.
Absolutely, and you know, I always look at the neck size in reference to the head and the rest of the body. I mean, clearly, if you freeze it right there, look at the size of the neck on this bear. I mean, his neck is actually bigger than the skull. That's where all their muscles are to fight other bears and to carry on. And the size of that front wrist, I mean, look at the size of that forearm and wrist. Huge. Yeah, obviously a big, mature male bear.
Historically, people have said you can judge a big bear by it having small ears, but I've not always found that to be true. I feel like this bear has pretty big ears, and that is a big male.
Yeah, I mean, size-wise on that shot, yeah, it does look like it would have bigger ears than what you would expect proportionally from a big male. But you're right. It's not as clear of an indicator as some other things.
All right, Myron, we've got three different kinds of bears here. Walk us through what we've got.
Well, we obviously have on the right younger bear, judging by the size of the barrel compared to the bear. The middle frame is obviously an older bear. I would consider an adult bear. And then the far left frame is going to be obviously an adult bear. So let's talk about how we're going to determine if they're male, female, young, or old. On the right, Clay, what would you call it immediately?
I think that is a juvenile male. He's got legs, stovepipe legs, high belly. He looks like he's tall, but clearly that's not a real old age class bear. That's a younger juvenile male.
That's a younger, lanky. That's exactly what I would call it based on that picture. And we realize a lot of people aren't going to get the perfect picture of a bear. So this is kind of give a representation of how I would judge one. But yeah, looking at the broad wrist, looking at the lankiness of the bear, the length of the arms, front arms, as opposed to the belly, it's obviously not an old bear. I would call it a 2-year-old male.
What about this middle bear?
Okay, so immediately I'm going to look at the size of the bear for an age reference. It's obviously much taller than the barrel on all fours. I'm going to call that an adult bear. It's 3+ years old. I'm going to look at the front wrist again, see how narrow the front wrists are on this bear. The bear has a relatively thin neck compared to the rest of its body, and a relatively narrow head. So I'm going to call that an adult female.
That's a perfect example of an adult sow.
Yep.
This last picture on the left is a magnum male bear. This is a big male, and you would instantaneously know this because of how big it is compared to the barrels, but stovepipe legs, big broad chest, big boxy head.
Yeah.
Just every part of that bear is big and tall and long, and that's a monster bear.
It is. That's a perfect example of the size of a male bear's wrist, too, because their wrists are going to be as wide as their front pad. And judging by that bear, I'd say his front pad is probably about 6 inches wide.
Of the big game species that we hunt in North America, identifying and field judging black bears, they're one of the toughest species, but it's very doable and it's very important for what we're trying to do.
That's right, especially with having this early season opener like we have. I mean, it's important for us to be good managers of that early season and to try and keep female harvest at a manageable rate.